and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet, the Kitty Rose Lifestyle, or the program underwriters. This is the movement. The movement.
Thank you for visiting the Movement Natural Sessions. I appreciate your presence. So, you said the question I posed to you was
challenging.
and you've had the question for a few weeks. So.
I've had the question. I looked at the question. I wrote the question. I transposed the question, and it still comes back the same way.
Which was?
I wouldn't change it. Anything.
Wow. Okay, so as a reminder, the question was, and it's funny because, like I said, this is the second season, so I should be on a new question at this, but I went back to the old reliable of, at this age in your life, what would you change, or what lesson would you now have that you wish you had at 18, 19, 20 years old? And you said every which way you tried to figure it out, you still came back to you wouldn't change.
I wouldn't change it because every step in my life was a learning lesson.
Okay.
And if I changed it, then I wouldn't be the person that I am today.
Do you like the person you are?
I do.
Okay.
I didn't.
Okay.
I
What
did
was that?
I didn't like myself, and if I cry,
Girl,
I think I
know,
got
right?
it.
Yeah.
I didn't like myself after my diagnosis, and I found out that I was losing my hair.
Okay. Why were you connected to your hair? Or
You know what? Hair was never important to me until I lost it. That's crazy, right? But it was never. It. I mean, I fixed it. I kept it neat and everything, but it didn't really. It wasn't that standout thing that I needed. That wasn't what was important.
What year in your marriage were you when you were diagnosed? And diagnosed with what?
I was diagnosed with discoid lupus.
Okay.
And it actually took them almost 5 years to find out what was wrong with me.
Okay.
Because I was on this holistic path.
Okay.
And I think by being on that holistic path, it wasn't showing up in my blood.
Okay.
But what happened was lupus attacked my hair follicles. And I had these crusty, nasty patches where the hair had came out. And I had locks. And my locks had grown and they appeared to be healthy. And I went to bed one night and I woke up and my locks was laying on a pillow. And I was like, that only happened in cartoons. This cannot be, for real. I didn't pay it no attention. Like I said, hair wasn't that. I flipped it to the side, and me being the creative person I am, I'm going to find a style and put it in a little style, took my butt to work. But then about 3 weeks later, the same thing happened again on the other side. And now I'm like, oh shit, my husband done gave me something. What is going on? Let me go to the doctor. This was my first thought.
Okay, what year are you in your marriage?
I don't even know.
Okay.
I'm not, I don't know.
How long have you and your husband been together?
We were together since 1970 something.
Around how old were you when you first started?
Late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, okay, all right, okay,
No,
okay.
I'm gonna say 30s.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So you did your little dirt years, right?
I could tell you a story, but I won't tell you that story.
Okay.
I don't want to incriminate
myself. So in your 30s, you and Leslie, y'all begin this union, this journey together.
Yes.
Okay, years down the line, you get diagnosed. Well, before you get diagnosed, you see stuff going on, and you're like, what the, And
I had joint pains.
Mm.
I was tired all the time. I would come home from work and sit on the couch and go to sleep.
Okay.
And did not even realize I had fallen asleep. And he was like, what is wrong with you? You know, he was like, he saw a change in me and he didn't even understand what it was and what I was going through.
Okay.
Finally, I decided to go to the doctor. And we do this battery of tests. I mean, test after test after test. Every test you could test me for everything. Okay? Everything came back negative.
Okay.
Now I'm thinking, oh crap, I got this incurable disease that nobody don't know what the hell it is.
Okay.
I'm gonna die.
Okay.
Got depressed. Pulled back. Didn't want to say nothing to nobody.
How old were your kids? Or around
Ke-
how old?
Keisha was away in school,
Okay.
so she was in high school.
Okay.
And Kendall was in elementary or whatever.
Okay, so you
so
still
they were
see-
in school.
Okay, so
Okay.
they were one,
Yeah,
still
they-
at home,
they-
and two, still full kind of need responsibility every day.
My
So
son
now
was
you're
home.
you're
Keisha
in
was
this-
more or less staying with my mother and,
Okay.
you know, in school. And
but you still
but-
have somebody at home.
Right.
So how? Okay,
How
and
did I
you're-
do that?
Right. And
how
then-
did I pull it off?
Did you pull it off?
I pulled it off
Okay.
because I lied lies,
Okay.
smiled lies.
Okay.
You know, everything was like, yeah, I could do this. Until my son caught me in the middle of the night crying and laying on the floor in pain. And then that's when I had to tell him what was going. But going back, the battery of tests that I went through, they came back and they said, you know, like, we've done every test possible. We don't find anything, but we're going to send you to a specialist. And so they sent me to the specialist, and he did a battery of tests, and then what they did was a scalp biopsy.
Okay.
So they cut pieces of my scalp, and that's when it came back and showed that lupus was attacking my hair follicles.
Okay.
But it wasn't showing up in the blood.
Okay.
And what the doctor said to me is, I can help you with pain. I can give you something for pain, but I can't get your hair to grow back.
Okay.
That right there was the straw that broke the camel's back.
How did your husband respond?
He had a thing for hair.
Okay.
So he liked long hair. When he met me, I had hair.
Okay.
So he had a thing for hair.
Okay.
And he said some pretty harsh things, you know, and after he really, really realized what I had gone through and what I was going through, and this was even years later. He went to the lupus, he wrote to the Lupus Foundation and got information so he could find out what was lupus and, you know, what I was going through and stuff like that. And the thing that really made me know that he really cared about me was, and I'm about to cry.
I hear you.
He said to me, everything that I love, I lose. And I was afraid I was going to lose you.
Oh.
And so the bad things that I said wasn't to hurt you. It was because I
was fear.
Out of fear. So I'm a little teary-eyed. But, you know, so like I said, everything has been a learning process. I graduated from high school. I didn't have the true ability to read. So the public school system let me go without the true ability to read.
Okay.
My daughter's in the 4th grade. She, they're going to leave her back. She's in Catholic school. They're going to leave her back. I'm not paying for you to repeat the grade. So I take her out, I put her in the public school.
Okay.
1 week, the principal calls me in and says, look, your daughter has a problem and we can nip this in the butt. We can nip this in the bud. I want to send her to this program. My daughter was dyslexic. So I found out that I was dyslexic as a grown adult.
Oh my goodness.
So, this, like I said, the public school system let me go without the true ability to read. But it didn't end there. I mean, I have a college degree. I have a BA in psychology and education. But it took me a whole lot longer to do what I had to do.
Like, it's interesting how certain things, you know, lead you back to figuring out other things. Like you said, the school system, at the time you were going to school, let you go, but then through your daughter not having the right fit,
right,
and then going to public school, ironically.
Right. But then it wasn't like public school, because at that particular time they had these tag programs in the school, which is talented and gifted programs. And this was, the principal was in the tag program that recognized that she had a problem. They put her into this program, and through this program, my daughter won a full academic scholarship.
See? So the benefits that came to her or came to you also as her mother to help her with her education, but also full circle awakening something that now you get to understand why things seem backwards or slow in your own learning, and then now knowing what it is, now still being able to further what you did. Yeah. So I guess I understand why you was like, I probably wouldn't change anything, because everything still was the setup. Okay, so because they say that all the time, like, you know, especially in the church, you know, they say, you know, God has a plan for you, and you know, everything that lines you up is a setup for, you know, what's next. So then I guess you are a believer of that. You know?
I do believe it. I do believe it, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because even after the diagnosis, and I pulled away from my family, and I was depressed, I was writing. I was writing down every hurt, every pain, every discomfort, how I hated the way I looked, not being over endowed, not having hair on my head, everything that hurt me, I wrote it down.
Well, how many years do you think you stayed in that, or how many months, or how many years did you stay in that funk, if better, for lack of a better word?
I'm gonna say it might have been 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
That I just lied about who I was and how I was feeling. You know, even lying to the doctors, because
really.
I didn't want to take the medicine. I mean, like the first medicine that they gave me made me really sick.
Okay.
So I did have to tell the truth. Then the second medicine that they gave me, it didn't seem like it was doing anything, but I continued to take it anyway.
Okay.
And then Leslie, being the health conscious person that he is, he was like, now, you've been on this holistic path. Now you're going to jump off the holistic path. You know, find out if your doctor does traditional medicine and holistic medicine. So,
and you know,
yeah, he did.
Right.
And so that, you know, that helped me. It, like I said, everything is a learn. You know, I'm thinking and stuff is going through my head right now, and I'm thinking about like how far I came, because even pulling back away from my family and writing made me the poet I am today. And who would have thought that a child who couldn't read would be writing poetry, would be writing anything?
Your process helped you as a mother then? Like, what tools or wisdom have you been able to give to, because what's interesting is that you have both, a son and a daughter. So you've gotten to be on another journey.
And had 4 foster teenage boys in my house too.
Okay. Okay.
You
Okay.
didn't know about that.
I knew that you had foster children, but no, I didn't know. Okay, so okay,
But
so
I'm
gonna
go back to the my
your
children.
And not sorry. Let me take that back because that means you have 6 kids. So no, not your children.
Mm-hmm.
The ones you birthed.
The 2 that I birthed.
The 2 that you birthed.
Pregnant 7 times, but only have 2 kids. I have miscarriages.
How many before the actual births?
1 before my daughter.
Okay.
And 2 in between. It's 12 years between Keisha and Kendall.
So did that were you guys trying to get pregnant?
Not really.
Oh, so when you lost them, how did
it affected me because I carried them so long. Like I carried, and you know what? And when I think back, I was like, I wonder if lupus was really like, you know, affecting my body then, and that's why I couldn't, you know, carry those babies full term. But the strange thing is, when I got pregnant with Kendall, I was pregnant for 5 months. And didn't know it.
Okay.
And people like, oh, come on, that's a bunch of crap. You can't be pregnant and don't know it. Yes, I was. I had my monthly every month on time.
Okay.
That did not, you know, give me any warning.
Right.
And then when I missed it, I was right on it. I was like, right to the doctor. I'm like, I missed my period. You know, can you
see what's
up? And they did a pregnancy test, and the pregnancy test came back negative.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, something is going on because I don't miss my period. My period come like clockwork. Every 21 days is there. And something's going on. So they did it with the blood, and that's when I found out I was pregnant. And it wasn't like that. It was like I went to have a sonogram, and the lady said, Miss, your sac is in the right place. I said, sac? What sac? She said, oh, you're almost 5 months pregnant. I said, what? Because if I wouldn't have known I was pregnant, I'd have had an abortion because I already lost those kids and I didn't want to go through that again. So God knew exactly what he was doing. Because I was too far gone to have an abortion.
Okay,
so he's my gift from God.
So having a son and having a daughter that made it through, and then being a mother to other children that you and your husband brought into the home, how has, because now you say you come to a point in your life that you wouldn't change anything or you wouldn't take away, how has those tools helped you in their transitions of becoming adults? Because all we're here as their parents is the guide. Their life is their own. But I'm sure that your daughter, as a mother, as a wife, as a girlfriend, as a friend, as a college student, there's been challenges that she's had to go through. And what it seems like, don't really know, but what it seems like is that you guys are close-knit. If you and your daughter seem like you like freaking frat, like right there, you know what I mean? I know that you were very instrumental in your son's life, even up to the point of kind of not sort of, but kind of raising his daughter. You know what I mean? So how have you been able to use your life as a testimony, not just to the world, but
to my kids at home? Because once I found out that my daughter was dyslexic and then I was dyslexic, that made me push even harder to make sure I found the best educational institutions for them to go to, the best schools. I looked for the best schools. So my son is not dyslexic. And what we found out when my daughter finally gave birth to her first child, because she had miscarriages before she had her son. And she said she wasn't having no more after that because she couldn't carry them. So what we found out is that the firstborn, my firstborn, was dyslexic. Her firstborn is dyslexic. My son is not dyslexic.
Okay.
And his daughter is not dyslexic.
Okay.
Okay. I believe my father was dyslexic.
Okay.
And my father only had a 3rd grade education, but he was the smartest man to me. My daddy was street smart. My uncle was
Were you
smart.
raised by both your parents?
I was raised by both of my parents, but my dad was my best friend.
Really?
Yeah.
How many children did they have?
I'm the only one that was raised in that household.
Okay.
It's funny, my mother had another daughter in the house that came from a cousin who was a drug addict.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
So,
I know.
no, I wasn't even, no, you know.
I know where you're going with that, like.
Okay, is it?
I got foster kids.
Okay.
My mom got foster,
I'm
like.
like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Cause
But my mother.
you know, is your lineage, is the women or the people in your family, y'all caregivers? You know what I'm saying?
It seems so, because my mother would even feed the homeless people on the street, like leftovers and stuff like that. She would
have
make
a nature like that. Okay.
Well, I like to entertain, so you know, anybody come to my house, y'all want to eat.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You have that nature. Okay.
Yeah, but my mother would, the guys that would be sleeping on Lenox Avenue, she would go out there and give them something to eat. You know,
y'all
And
straight Harlem.
We straight Harlem.
Okay.
We straight.
Okay.
I grew up in the projects.
Okay.
And in that Harlem project where I was raised, it was about the village raising children.
Okay.
You could leave your door open. Nobody better not open up that
do you
door.
miss those times?
I do.
Okay.
That's why I said, you know, my childhood.
Even though now we're talking about still late 70s, early 80s, and still Harlem is crack epidemic, drugs,
all of that.
Right.
My mother used to sit me and Jackie in the window. That's the one that she raised before me. Sit us in the window and point out. She said, see that person over there that's like going down and down? She said, that's a drug addict. They human beings. They speak to you, you say hello. Don't take nothing from them. Don't go with them nowhere. Bring your butt back up in this house. But speak.
And even with all of that, you still miss those days over what we have now.
I did everything. Christmas time, all the kids would get together and buy each other one gift. We did ice skating. They used to, in the projects, they had the big park. And in the big park, they had a swimming pool. And they would fill that swimming pool with water in the wintertime. And we could go ice skating.
You ain't had to go down.
Central Park didn't even have an ice skating rink except on 64th Street
So
all the way down there.
Why do you think, like, in the worst, supposedly, of times, and now things are, you know, gentrified and cleaned up and, you know, pretty and all that. Why do you think, or what do you think was done on purpose to lose that sense of family to where we have now? Or do you think something was done on purpose?
I'm not going to say it was done on purpose. But what happened was the crack epidemic. You know, when those drugs came in, and then it was babies having babies. And if a baby is having a baby and their mama is not teaching them principle, morals, and respect, how they going to teach the next one principle, moral? And that's where we lost the village raising children. Because it's no principles, no morals, no respect. When I was growing up, when I was a little girl, you respected every adult you saw on the street because you didn't know who knew what. And my mother told me you could go out there and act up, but it'll come back to me because you don't know who I know.
You have a daughter who...
And I told her the same thing.
Okay, but so what is so...
And
what
she's
about
telling her son the same thing.
But I'm not talking about your son. Your daughter's age group is the age group that you're talking about. So if you're talking... Before her?
A little after her.
A little after her. So
because my daughter,
before Kendall. Okay.
My daughter and all her friends had principles, morals, and respect from their parents. And the thing is, because a lot of my daughter's friends come right out the projects, and if my friends is raising their kids the way we were raised, then all of those kids got the same thing.
Right.
But it got lost. But those 12 years after my daughter, and then when my son came about, that's when I started seeing that change. Because those kids that I took in my house that wanted a roof over their head, a roof over their head, some food to eat, and a man in their life was that era.
Where'd you meet, or why did you and Leslie decide to adopt?
Well, we didn't actually adopt legally.
Okay.
But the kids that we got, it was because their mothers wasn't doing for them.
Did you know their mothers?
I knew of that. Well, I knew, yes. One, I know the mother.
Okay.
And he looks more like my son than my son does. But he's older than my son. And they share the same, my daughter and him share the same birthday.
Okay.
So, he's the oldest. So, it's Keisha, it's him, it's Kendall, it was Michael, it was Gary, it was Wendell. I mean, these were kids that was coming in the house to say, "Mom, can I just sleep? Can I get something to eat?"
Was it the both
and it wasn't like
Leslie?
It was me and
okay.
Leslie.
Okay.
They wanted that man to talk to.
So
most of them didn't have their fathers.
So he had never felt like this is too much. I don't want this. Why do I have this wife who's always taking in? No,
he kind of went along with it.
Okay.
And you want to know what's so funny? I'm not going to say funny. What's so great about it is when they come back now, grown, on their own, got their own, and they come back and they say thank you. That's the good thing. That's when you know you did something right.
Do you think that that's helped you and Leslie stay together?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Leslie is crazy, and everybody, I tell them this all the time. He crazy. He is really crazy, and I don't even know how I stay with him, but I guess it's love. I guess it's something, something that holds us together.
Okay.
Leslie not really a family person, but as long as people come around, he gonna be doing that family kind of thing.
Okay.
But he said he never really wanted family.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's always, when the kids and everybody come, like Sunday that just passed, the house was full. He went and got in the bed and went to sleep.
Okay.
And we all sitting there looking at TV. But, that's him. That's what they used to it now.
Okay. So what fuels him, you think?
Fused him in what way?
In the sense of what keeps him going, do you think it's you?
I might be his backbone.
Okay.
He's made me a stronger person.
In what way?
Because he's so mean.
Okay.
He's like, don't talk like this, don't talk like that. So he made me a stronger person.
Okay. So making you a stronger person and him being such a dominant force, and it's so funny because he ain't but 2 pounds.
Sometimes I wonder if I could just pick him up and throw him across my shoulder because but he's strong as a damn ox.
I feel.
He is strong as an ox.
So when do you feel like you always had insight to appreciate that sternness, or did you ever have a point that you resented it, especially when you were in your shell of denial?
This is the movement.